This is a second quorum call for the City Council. It is 10:18. We have 7 members present. We need 3 more for a quorum. Council members who are in the building, if you could please make your way to the council chambers in order that we may proceed. Again, we have 7 members present. We need 3 more for a quorum. This is a second quorum call. floor. This is a third quorum call for the City Council. We are standing at 7 members present. We need 3 more for a quorum. Council members who are in the building, would you please proceed to the council chamber in order that we may begin. This is a third quorum call. Will the council and the audience please come to order? In just a few minutes, this will be a meeting of the City Council of the City of Los Angeles on this Friday, the 4th of May, 2001. I'm Councilman Rudy Savornich Jr., President Pro Tem of the City Council and acting mayor today. That's a scary thought for many, but to reassure my wife, yes, hon, I will be home to take out the trash later. This council meeting can be heard live via council phone, and we are currently being viewed on LA City View Channel 35. The council meeting will be replayed this evening at 7:30, and all council meetings for the week will be aired on Sunday on Channel 35 City View beginning at 10 a.m. and running until all the meetings have been viewed. There are 15 council districts in the city. Once we get a quorum, we will call the roll, but prior to that, we do have some presentations this morning, and so at this time, I would like to recognize Council members Pacheco, Hernandez, and Padilla for presentations. Councilman?
Thank you, Council President Savornich. It's a great pleasure this morning to celebrate one of the historic and traditional celebrations here in the city of Los Angeles, Cinco de Mayo. As you know, this weekend, Cinco de Mayo recognizes the battle at Puebla. As I've said before, Cinco de Mayo is a battle against foreign intervention and allowing people to determine their own destiny. That way, when we look at it from that perspective in terms of self-determination, it includes all people's struggles for liberty and freedom, and that's why it's part of us here in Los Angeles and part of the American tradition of freedom and liberty. So let me first start out by getting a nice warm welcome to Mariachi Sol de America, who's going to do a few songs for us, and then we'll get back to the program. Thank you, Mr. President.
la quiero ver aquí, con su rebozo de seda, que letra que desde aquí. Cuando metes a mi negra, que la quiero ver aquí, con su rebozo de seda, que letra que desde aquí.
We'd like to thank the Mariachi Sol de America. They were sponsored today by All Access Entertainment, who produces our Fiesta Broadway. I do want to remind everyone that this weekend is the Cinco de Mayo celebration at Olvera Street, down in El Pueblo. If you can join us there, you'll have a good time. Let me now bring up our senior Latino council member for his final Cinco de Mayo here, our colleague, council member Mike Hernandez, who's done a great job of representing the First Council District and of representing the city of Los Angeles and all of us in reminding us how important our own background and culture is by being such a strong advocate for Latino festivities and our cultural events. So let me bring up Mike Hernandez, my colleague.
You know, I'd like to hear one more hand for Sol de America. What a lot of people don't know, they're supposed to be in Nuez, California at 11:30, and those of you who don't know the translation for Nuez, that's walnut. So they had kind of an urgency here. And you know, we were sitting here talking. Does anybody know, has anybody heard that first song they played in these council chambers? The first song they played, have you ever heard it before? Yes, of course. The first song. How about in the audience? You'd never heard the first song they played? Okay, because it's played all the time. and the streets of Los Angeles. And I was asking the question because very few people know, and Nick and I were talking about the name of that song. And it's called La Negra, celebrating, again, our culture. And I wanted to kind of share that with people because part of the reason we celebrate Cinco de Mayo is to celebrate our history and the Battle of Puebla. Of 1862, I think we were kind of chatting about it. And again, I get to stand here as a council member sharing my history and my culture with the rest of Los Angeles, and at the same time recognize that this is Los Angeles. What you'll hear is mariachis throughout the streets of Los Angeles this weekend, and hopefully we can all take the time when we're smelling the roses to listen to the music. And that's what it's about. And I know that you have some pan dulce in front of you. Just in case some of you don't know, I have diabetes, so I can't have pan dulce nowadays. I stay away from it. But we also have some tamales and some other treats in the back. At this time, I'd like to introduce Veronica Vasquez and Danny Bolero, if they'll please come up. They're also celebrating Cinco de Mayo with us. In case some of my colleagues don't know, one of the things we were able to get done last year was actually the transfer of the Doolittle Theater to Nosotros. And Nosotros is an organization that's been supportive of Latino actors and entertainers for decades. And the first theater that's opening, that Nosotros is managing in Hollywood, is the Doolittle Theater. And that became a reality because of the actions of this council, and I think the will of the CRA and the city of Los Angeles. And so part of that celebration includes a play that is showing right now. It's basically called Selena. And if you all remember, that was a very young person who basically introduced crossover music, particularly Tejano music, and became kind of a phenomenon and died at a very young age. And so that play is currently happening at the Doolittle Theater. It started last night, and it goes through Sunday. We're encouraging people to attend. And I'd like to introduce Veronica and Danny, who are going to do one of the numbers that they play there. Veronica plays Selena, and I don't know who Danny plays, but Abraham, the father. And those of you who know Richard Zaldivar, Danny's Richard's brother, so that's why it was Richard who brought it to our attention. So again, Danny Bolero and Veronica.
You're gonna need this to come out so I can move. Let's get everybody with their hands together. Let's celebrate. All right. Yo sé que tienes un nuevo amor. Sin embargo, te deseo lo mejor. Si en mí no encontraste felicidad, tal vez alguien más te la dará. Como la flor, con tanto amor, me diste tú. Se marchito, me marcho y yo sé perder. Pero, ay, cómo me duele. Manos arriba todo. Ay, cómo me duele. Cumbia. Oh, no, no. Si vieras cómo duele perder tu amor, con tu adiós te llevas mi corazón. No sé si pueda volver a amar, porque te di todo el amor que pude dar. Como la flor, con tanto amor, me diste tú. Se marchito, me marcho y yo sé perder. Pero, ay, cómo me duele. Ayúdame. Ay, cómo me duele. Ay, Como me duele. Thank you.
Baby, that was great.
Thanks.
You know, I've always been your biggest fan. Ever since you were a little girl, you've always had me wrapped around your little finger. I just want you to know that if tomorrow it all went away, if tomorrow it all never was, you'd still be here with me today. And I'd be grateful that I had your love. Si mañana todo es traición, si mañana no te queda nada, si tu corazón pierde su canción, recuerda que mi amor no faltará. If tomorrow it all went away, if tomorrow it all never was, you'd still be here with me today, and I'd be grateful, grateful that I had your love.
Thank you, Daddy.
Thank you, Mija. I love you.
Once again, I'm Veronica Vasquez, and I'm playing Selena, in case you didn't catch that. And this is...
I'm Danny Bolero, and I'm playing Abraham the father.
That's right. And we're going to be performing at the Doolittle Theater. We need all the support we can get, especially being Latinos in this industry. Everybody come out and support us. We're on Hollywood and Vine, Doolittle Theater.
We're there till the 27th
Till
of
the
May.
27th of May. And the number to call for tickets is 233-3123. Once again, 1-800-233-3123. Thank you so much.
Come celebrate Cinco de Mayo with Selena.
That's right.
Yes, Mr. President, I'd like, Veronica and Danny, I just wanted to give you a little token of you being here today. On behalf of the City of Los Angeles, I have a Happiness Is certificate. Veronica Vasquez in the musical performance of Selena.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
And Danny, we also have for you a Happiness Is certificate for Danny Bolero in the musical performance of Selena.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
And again, those of you who can take the time to do something celebrating this weekend, this is an excellent thing to go see, so we strongly encourage it. I now pass the helm back over to our MC of the day, Mr. Councilmember Nick Pacheco.
I was going to sing, but I forgot my charo, Cindy, so if I had brought it, I would have sung. I also want to bring up our colleague, obviously one of the younger members of the council, but who's done a great job of making his mark here in the city of Los Angeles and has been very strong in promoting all the new developments in the Latino community, especially the rock en español that we have seen emerge here in Los Angeles. So let me bring up Councilman Padilla.
Hey, Nick, like you're all that old. One of the younger members of the council. I am, and we're proud of it. Colleagues, this is our annual Cinco de Mayo celebration, and there are festivals going on at Olvera Street and all over the city, many of which are city-sponsored, and all of which are community-sponsored. So there's a lot to choose from. Check your papers, check your community calendar listings on television and on cable, but be a part of something. It's part of, I think, celebrating the diverse history and the diverse cultures throughout the city of Los Angeles. I wanted to highlight one interesting observation from the census figures that were released recently, not to brag about the Northeast Valley or my district, but I think to shed light on just how the city continues to change and continues to be diverse in a positive way. The most Latino council district is no longer in the East Side. It's in the San Fernando Valley. So we're seeing changes in demographics, changes in populations, changes in cultural institutions that are reflected at all levels of our city, from census figures to schools to cultural institutions. It's great to be a part of it. It's great to learn from it and to benefit from it and to exchange it. So this weekend, let's keep that in mind. Let's get out there, celebrate Cinco de Mayo, and remember, it's not Independence Day in Cinco de Mayo. In Texas, they may remember the Alamo, but we remember La Batalla de Puebla. Thank you very much.
Thank you, colleagues. Thank you, Mr. President. Don't forget, have a good weekend, and obviously, don't drink and drive. Thank you.
Thank you, council members. I do believe we have a quorum, so Mr. Clerk, would you call the roll, and then we will proceed.
Person check, Fuhrer, Hernandez, Holden, Miskowski, Pacheco, Padilla, Ridley Thomas, Florence, Wax, Walters, and Galanter. 10 members present and a quorum, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Is there any routine housekeeping that we can do now prior to
Approval
voting
of the minutes.
Okay. Without objection, so ordered.
Commendatory resolutions for approval.
Without objection, so ordered. Okay. Here we go back to presentations at this time. The chair recognizes Councilwoman Walters for a presentation. And as the councilwoman is making her way, the chair recognizes Councilman Wax for an introduction.
Yes, Mr. President, members of council, while Ms. Walters is coming to the podium, I'd like to just take a moment to introduce a group of young people from Verdugo Hills High School. Each year I have the honor of introducing a group of people from the Advanced Placement Government class at Verdugo High. It has over the years really distinguished itself, an incredibly successful program combining academic achievement and community service. They're here with their teacher, Will Reinhardt, and I had the opportunity to meet with him this morning at great length. Their interest in government in this city and the issues. We had long discussions about the LA River future, the airport expansion, and other issues. They're going on to the federal courts and then on to Law Day, and I wonder if the students and Will would please stand and be recognized by the council. We're very, very honored that you would be with us today, and we wish you a great day and a great success. Thank you. Ms. Walters, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wax.
Yes.
Ms. Walters.
Thank you, Mr. President. Council members, I'm going to make some awards today, and I know that you will heartily agree with the awards that are being presented. The first award is to the Santa Monica Mountains Conservancy. And we all know what a wonderful job that the Mountains Conservancy does with lands under their management and safekeeping. And they do just that. They keep the land safe for future generations and preserving the mountain parks for generations to come. Whereas we might be tempted to destroy them, overbuild on them, they have worked to see that these are set aside by virtue of state law, and that they continue to operate in the best interest of the entire community. Okay, great. The Conservancy offers hiking, picnicking, camping, bicycling, and equestrian opportunities. It focuses on the regional perspective in linking large and small open spaces, wildlife corridors, and trails, and serves as a repository for lands offered for open space, dedication, or for trail easements. And I hope that all of you have taken advantage of the opportunity to acquaint yourselves with the lands under the Conservancy guidance, because they're beautiful, they're wonderful, and it's a major resource for the city. So the first award I'm presenting to Mr. Joseph Edmiston, who is Executive Director of the Santa Monica Mountains Conservancy, and we're presenting this for the Conservancy itself. But that's not all, and we need, I must say, we need one council signature before this is entirely official. Now, to Mr. Joseph Edmiston himself, and all of you know him well, or most of you know him well, and know the good work that he does and the things that he accomplishes for this city. He has a long history in conservation of land, whereas he worked for the Sierra Club before coming to the Mountains Conservancy. He also did a stint at law school before doing this. He's a product of LA City Schools and East Los Angeles College before he went on to USC. We want to thank you so very much, and I'm recognizing the Conservancy this morning for the outstanding work that they did in building the Augustus F. Hawkins Natural Park on a piece of land that had been owned by the DWP forever. They used it as a pipe storage yard. It had to be the ugliest land anywhere in the city at all, and perhaps outside the city as well. And they've taken it and made a real oasis of it. And Joe just worked wonderfully with us and was so helpful in getting this up and running. And I'm most appreciative to you, Joe, and all you said.
Thank you so much. I'm not gonna-
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. He's a wonderful guy. He really is. And I want to recognize some special people with the Conservancy who also did a wonderful job on this park. Reva Conkoff, I'll get it right, who's Chief of Special Projects for the Mountains Recreation and Conservation Authority. She oversees all of the Conservancy construction projects, plans all of the Conservancy events, and handles all the marketing and public relations. Quite a job. She oversaw the construction crews that assisted with the park construction, planned the dedication event, which was quite an event. And we want to thank you for your dedication to the Conservancy and for all the wonderful work that you did with the park. Thank you. Okay. And now, Stephanie Landrigan. And I have to tell you, Stephanie was that on-the-ground person who was not only there on the ground, she designed the park. She took charge of the meetings that we held with the community. She listened carefully to the community about what they wanted in the park, and then she went out and designed the park such that we have a park that everybody that comes is, oh, and everybody thinks it's just breathtakingly beautiful, and we have Stephanie to thank for that. And she was there working with the community. She hired folks from the community to help build the park, and they all love her, and they did a magnificent job. And Stephanie, you did a magnificent job, and we love you for it. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure.
Okay. We have these to present today, and tell Amy that I'm going to get her one as well.
I will tell her.
Okay,
Thank
she
you.
should have been here today. But these are wonderful people, a wonderful group to work with, and I know as you work with them in your districts that you find the same thing. We're very fortunate. One, that the state of California had the foresight to establish the Santa Monica Mountains Conservancy, and two, that they have gained the support, I believe, of enough of the community that they're going to be a living entity for generations to come. And thank you so much. Thank you. Wonderful job.
Thank you, Councilwoman. We do have another colleague that wishes to say a few words. Chair recognizes
Okay,
Councilman
don't go
Burnson.
away. Somebody else wants to.
Mr. Burnson?
Yeah, I just had to get up and say a word or two about Joe and the Conservancy, and I just want to tell you what a tremendous asset they've been to our community and to our district, particularly on a very tough project that everybody said we couldn't pull off, and that was acquiring the acreage above Stony Point. But with the help of Joe Edmondson and the Conservancy, we managed to pull it off, and we now have that as part of the extension of Stony Point Park. So I want to add my congratulations and thanks to both Joe and to the Conservancy, to the district. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. The chair recognizes Councilwoman Miskowski.
I just wanted to thank Councilmember Walters for bringing this in, and I think with what Councilman Burnson said, the Santa Monica Mountain Conservancy really knows no bounds. I think when it was initially created, it had a little narrow niche, which was the Santa Monica Mountains, but it really has become one of the greatest collaborative partnerships with the city for throughout the city. It was the impetus in the LA River Conservancy. They came first and started to say that needs to be recognized too in the relationships. But they committed early on to say that the mountains and any land that's being preserved shouldn't be preserved just for where it is, but for everyone in the city, and everyone in the city should be made aware of the resources that need to be developed everywhere in the city. And they have been the stalwart partner for the city in just an immeasurable way, and generations of kids and older people too are going to know of its benefits in the parks that they are going to be able to enjoy for generations to come. So thank you.
Members of the council, Councilman Burnson, Councilman Miskowski, and of course, Councilman Rita Walters. The Augustus F. Hawkins Natural Park would not have happened but for the foresight, the perseverance of Councilmember Rita Walters, and we all thank her so very much. And, you know, those kids, I got to say, you know, we're not used to having a lot of Razor scooters in our parks and all, and we designed these wonderful things. And the first day when the thousands of Razor scooters came out, because it was just after Christmas, you know, I'm thinking, boom, and it's wonderful to see everybody using it. They enjoy the wetland, the natural areas, and they enjoy running their Razor scooters there, and that's what the city of Los Angeles is all about, all of us enjoying nature together. So thank you so much, Rita, for everything that you've done.
Okay, great. Thank you, Jim.
Chair recognizes Councilman
All right.
Hernandez.
Mr.
Joe, just one second, Madam Chair. I had pushed my button, and for some reason the president kind of didn't see my name. But I know he's taking out the trash when he gets home. So, but I just wanted to say something to the Santa Monica Mountain Conservancy and to Joe Edmondson and myself, if I could. And it's because Joe and I have had a real strange relationship. It's been on what I call creative stress. I really wanted to take the time to, one, thank Ms. Walters for bringing him and recognizing him for his work in not only her district, but in the city. And I want to echo some of the words Councilmember Miskowski said. And it's because in my district, I basically have Lyra Canyon that's part of the Council District 13 that happened because of Santa Monica Mountains Conservancy. You need to know Rainbow Canyon also was something that they helped us with. And I also have some soccer fields in Montecito Park that happened because of Santa Monica Mountain Conservancy. And I was one of those council members who was yelling at them, when are you going to do something in the inner city? But just recently, probably the Los Angeles River Center is something that the Conservancy basically created, where the river meets the LA River, the Arroyo Seco River. They have a grant from the federal government for a confluence park. It's a $5 million grant. They're working on the overall grant for the development of parkland at Taylor Yard. And this weekend, as part of the Cinco de Mayo celebration, they're having a family fair at their facility. And I know that the River Center has become kind of a unifying force for a lot of the environmental groups and the people who are working on the quality of life issues in that particular community. And I just wanted to stand up to say thank you, that you're making a difference in the inner city by allowing us all to take the time to enjoy what's around us. And again, I wholeheartedly mean those words, Joe, and I appreciate the relationship I've had with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman.
Mr. President, I have the Older Americans Awards to give. May I do that at this time?
Please.
Thank you. Thank you. It's time for Older Americans Month again, and we want to present to Ms. Ann Smith, the General Manager of the Department of Aging, these recognitions for the senior population of Los Angeles. The senior population of Los Angeles is more than 600,000 people, and Ms. Smith, I'm one of those people. The City Department of Aging is also designated as the Area Agency on Aging, and the Department of Aging promotes the well-being of all seniors living in the city through its many programs. And it's a pleasure to present this to you today, and signifying, once again, Older Americans Month. And we all take pride in honoring our citizens today. We also have a resolution for Mr. Edward Woods, President of the Council on Aging. And we're pleased to present this to Edward Woods for your work on behalf of seniors in the city of Los Angeles. The Council on Aging is a volunteer organization designated by the Older Americans Act, and the Act is an advocacy group for the good of all seniors living in the city of Los Angeles. Their activities take them into the area of legislation, housing, health, nutrition, arts, entertainment, and education, as all of those things pertain to older Americans. And thank you and the council for all the great work that you do.
Thank you, the mayor and the council, for this distinguished award to our council, and we will continue to be champions for the seniors in the city of Los Angeles. Thank you again.
Okay. And the third resolution is to Marilyn Freed, Executive Director for the Organization for the Needs of the Elderly. Is that the correct pronunciation of your name? Yes. Okay, great. We want to thank you for the Organization for the Needs of the Elderly that has provided services to seniors in the San Fernando Valley for 22 years. The Organization for the Needs of the Elderly programs have been very progressive in designing new services to meet the expanding needs of seniors. This organization has been a service provider to the City of Los Angeles Department of Aging, and you're greatly admired for your dedication, and we thank you very much.
Thank you so
and I
much.
love your pen.
Oh, well, thank you.
Okay. Thank you
so
very
much.
much. Okay, Ms. Smith.
I'd like to thank Mrs. Walters for this resolution. I think today's celebration is very fitting with the theme for Older Americans Month nationwide, the many faces of aging. And it really reflects Los Angeles and our cultural diversity being the most diverse city in the city of in the nation, with as many languages and as many cultures. And I'd like to personally thank you for all the work that you've done to help our department, and it's been a pleasure working with you. Thank you very much.
Chair recognizes Councilwoman Chick for a comment.
Yes, just briefly, I want to thank my colleague, Councilmember Walters, for bringing this in. I want to thank Ann Smith and to give credit for the hard work that the Council on Aging and its volunteers do. But I especially want to recognize Organization for the Needs of the Elderly. It's the multi-purpose senior center agency in the 3rd Council District. It's an agency I've been very closely involved with. I'm very proud of it. I think it's an example of the good work that's done citywide. I'm especially proud of the intergenerational dependent daycare that Organization for the Needs of the Elderly run. And colleagues, we need to make sure that the City of Los Angeles stays a very friendly and sensitive place to our elders. We're all joining the ranks. Mr. Bernson, as our senior member today, was saying that he especially cares for the Department of Aging because he's a senior. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Controller-elect. Mr. Hernandez?
Mr. Chair, members of the council, I also wanted to thank two special seniors who are here. Sally and Marguerite, I have some flowers I just wanted to take to you to thank you for all the work you've been doing and your support.
Thank you, Mr. Hernandez. Councilwoman Walters, does that conclude the presentation?
That concludes the presentation.
Thank you, ma'am, and thank you all very much. We appreciate it. Next, the chair recognizes our Controller-elect, Councilwoman Chick, for a presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Acting Mayor. Would the Chick team please come and join me at the podium? I don't know if you just heard my sigh, colleagues, but This is part of the culture of term limits, is having us take turns standing up here saying goodbye to different staff members. And I have two very special members of my staff and my team who are moving on. Today is their last day with me, and I want to recognize them and their hard work, and I've got the whole gang here with me at my side. Craig Bullock, up here, please. Where are your folks?
Oh, they're sitting down.
Would you like them to join us? Sure. And we're going to have his parents come up as well. Here. Be patient. Colleagues, this young man started with me in my Valley office 5 years ago. Actually, did you start in City Hall? I'm wrong. He started in the City Hall office 5 years ago as an unpaid, hardworking volunteer. And a year later, 4 years ago, I knew he had to become a permanent part of my team. And so for 4 years, he has been a staff member in the Valley office. He started out as an intern answering phones and dealing with some of the regular constituent service requests. And he went on to handle anything and everything that he was asked to do, and he did it well. He staffs my neighborhood planning advisory committees, at least several of them. He took over handling land use and planning issues. He took over the CRA project area in my district, a very important issue. And in that, he ran a variety of projects in the redevelopment area. The most important and the most shining example of what Craig Bullock can accomplish is the Canoga Park Junior Art Center. He supervised that project as though it was a remodel on his own house. They know. And if any of the city staff people who worked on that project were here, they would be wincing and grinning at the same time, because this guy was a pit bull, and he delivered it on time and on budget and with great quality. Craig is going back to the private sector company that has missed him these 5 years since he's been with me. First, he's going to take a little time off and go check out Italy, a well-deserved respite. It breaks my heart that my time on the council and my team is over, that Craig is moving onward and upward. I'm deeply appreciative for all of his hard work, his work ethic, everything he did willingly and eagerly except attend staff meetings. We all know that. He tried to break that tradition, but with a lot of mixed feelings, but a heart filled with love and gratitude and thanks, not just for me and for the others that you worked with, but for the people of the 3rd District. Craig, you served them well. Thank you.
I would first like to thank Councilmember Loracek, who has given me so many opportunities over these last 5 years. It's been absolutely incredible. The people I have met, the things that I have accomplished are just amazing. And I truly thank you for offering me this opportunity. I'd also like to thank my parents, who have always pushed and could strive to achieve good things. And I thank you for being here today, and thanks for everything you've done for me in the past. Thank you.
Wow.
Thanks.
We got to watch this guy. He lives in Burbank, unfortunately, but he's probably going to be mayor of Burbank someday. So. And now I'd like to ask Ian Phillip to join me. Linda, you going to come up with us? Most of you here have been fortunate like me, although you don't know him as well as I do, but you know Ian Phillip. 8 years ago, I got a phone call from Joan Milky Flores, who said, "There's somebody I want you to pay attention to and think about hiring." And it was this guy. He's been at my side for 8 years, if not from day one, from day two. He started out, was it Dartmouth? As a 23-year-old recent Dartmouth graduate. You can figure out the math, but here he is, quite a mature, still young man, a long ways now from being a recent grad. Started out handling anything and everything we threw at him, and whatever it was done well. Ian's work ethic, his thoughtfulness, his thoroughness, his caring are impeccable. And he went on to take over CRA issues, building and safety. He lived through the struggle on the problem property resolution team and a variety of other things with building and safety that we worked on. This guy can explain complex budget items so that you think they're simple, and he can help you understand anything and everything. And eventually, about a year plus ago, moved on and up to become my chief of staff during an extremely difficult time. While I was running in a citywide campaign, Ian made sure that everything in both offices, working with Juan Rodriguez, my district director, and everyone else, ran smoothly and well. There was never a glitch that he couldn't take care of. His loyalty is fierce and a wondrous thing to behold. And the best news for us all is he's not leaving the city. He's going to be the director of policy at Leanne Pelham's side in the ethics office, something very good for all of us because he walks in there with a deep understanding of what it's like to be in our shoes. And I think that's a good perspective to have in the Ethics Commission. And so I'm trying not to shed any more tears, Ian. Oh, and he's also not just a 23-year-old recent grad, but he's now a long one-year married man to a wonderful woman at his side. Ian, there aren't words to say thank you, and I won't try because I'll cry. So it's your turn. Congratulations and thank you.
Wanted to say my thanks to Laura for providing me with numerous amazing opportunities and just some ability to go into issues that I never knew a whole lot about. I got a knowledge working with you about the San Fernando Valley and an appreciation for the valley, which coming from the South Bay I had not had before. And I've been blessed to be able to work with two amazing council families. The first with coming into the last part of Councilmember Joan Milky Flores' term and being able to then transition into a wonderful council family in Councilmember Chick's office has just been amazing. And I wanted to thank all of the people who are behind me because they've really made it worthwhile and made my job as chief of staff a lot easier. They're a great bunch of people, and for those of you who are looking for good staff members, not immediately, because Laura will get mad at me if I said that, but there are a great group of people here who can really help the city continue on very effectively. I wanted to also thank those who are in the different council offices as staff and the city family as well, because the work relationships I've had with everyone have been amazing and very rewarding and fulfilling, and I've really appreciated being able to work with everyone. And finally, I couldn't have done everything that I've been able to accomplish as chief of staff without the love and support of my wife, Linda, and so I just wanted to thank her. So, thank you, Laura.
Thanks, Ian. It shows how caring. This is the kind of guy that, and we women know and love this, you know, like if your slip is hanging out a little or your collar is askew, he will come and quietly fix it for you. And that he, rather than I, thought of that very wonderful thing to say about these great people, and that those of you who are staying on should think about grabbing them after I leave. Thank you very much. One last thing. There's a picture in the LA Times archives somewhere. Remember the football game, the mayor-council football game many years ago in the Coliseum? He forgot it was a touch game. Remember, Mike? Tackled Mayor Reardon. It was an omen of things to come, I guess. Thank you very much, colleagues. Thank you.
The chair recognizes Councilmember Savornich for a presentation.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members of the council, today we have celebrated the Cinco de Mayo, we have celebrated Older Americans Month, and now we're going to celebrate an early Christmas, because standing with me today is Darrell Laris, who for the last 6 years, and hopefully will continue as such, has been the chairman of the San Pedro Christmas Parade Committee. Back in 1994, I had mentioned to my staff and to the Chamber of Commerce that it had been quite a while since the San Pedro Christmas Parade had occurred. There had been many years of the parade's absence, and as a community, we should do something about it. Shortly thereafter, Darrell stepped up to the plate with a wonderful committee, and ever since have put on a Christmas parade in which the entire community can be proud. And for those of you who have worked in an unpaid volunteer capacity trying to put together an event such as a Christmas parade for a community, when there can be dozens if not hundreds of entries, and do it all because of love and community, you know how much work it is. And so while we are a little ways from Christmas, I wanted to take this opportunity as I begin to end my tenure on the City Council to honor a true community leader, a true community gentleman, someone who has always had our community at heart, and to thank Darrell Laris for his terrific job as chairman of the San Pedro Christmas Parade Committee for 1995, 96, 97, 98, 99, last year, and I hope he remains for this year too. Mr. President, members of the council, please join me in honoring Darrell Laris. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Please.
Councilman Rudy, thank you very much. Today, the Christmas Parade Committee and the community of San Pedro would like to present you with your banner that has been in the parade for many years. I hope you enjoy it. It's signed by all the Christmas Parade Committee members.
Thank you.
And to the council, we'd like to thank you for supporting us in our effort in San Pedro, and also invite you to participate in our parade on December 2nd. And thank you all again. This is wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, very much.
Thank you, Councilmember Savornich. That concludes the presentations. Mr. Clerk, the next item on the agenda, please.
Items number 1 and 2 on the regular agenda are items for which public hearings are noticed. Item number 1, there is a card. A member of the public wishes to speak.
Sure. Will Mr. Luis Baglietto please come forward?
Honorable Council, my name is Lou Baglietto. I'm with the Catherine Company. We represent the applicant. This time we'll waive public comment. Thank you.
Let's conclude this item, Councilmember Burnson. There's been a request to take up the Ethics Commission ordinances out of order. Recognizing that some members have to leave early, and we do have 11 members present. Mr. Clerk? There's been a motion to approve item 1. Seeing no opposition, that'll be the order. Next item.
Item number 2 is still before you. Mr. President, item number 1, a motion was made. A vote actually has to be taken on that matter. So do you wish to take vote number 1 and 2 together?
Let's do that. Nobody wishing to speak on item 2. Open the roll on items both 1 and 2. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
Next item. Forthwith on those items.
Items number 3 and 6 on the regular agenda are items for which public hearings have been held.
There is a card on item number 4. We'll call that special. Anybody wishing to speak from the public on items 3 through 6? Colleagues, any specials? Let's call the roll for items 3 through 6 with the exception of item number 4.
11 ayes, 1 no.
We did call that order. Those are approved.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, my no was on item 3 only. All the rest, I didn't have a problem.
Okay, well, let's take item 3 now, since that was requested to be taken out of order. Item 3 is a set of ordinances.
No, I believe the ordinances they wish to take are items. You're correct. Item number 3. Mr. President, we just voted on item number 3. Did you wish to call that special and reconsider it?
We shall reconsider those without opposition. Members wishing to speak
My
on
understanding
item
is it won't
number 3?
change the outcome. I just want it to be recorded as a no vote on item 3.
Okay, Mr. Hernandez, you recorded a no vote on 3, 5, and 6.
I want to be recorded as a yes vote on 4, 5, and 6.
Okay, then reconsideration is in order on item number 3.
That item will be reconsidered. Any members wishing to speak on item number 3? Mr. Clerk, open the roll on item number 3. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
11-1. Okay, it should be 11.
10 ayes, 1 no.
We'll send that item forward forthwith. Next items, please.
Items number 7 through 18 on the regular agenda are items for which public hearings have not been held. 7 through 18. A motion is required on item number 10 inasmuch as there's 2 reports on 1 file.
Is there a motion on item number 10? Any motions on item number 10?
Item number 10 is a communication from the Chair of a Housing Committee and also a communication from the Acting Chair of Personnel Committee.
Chair of either of those committees wish to make a motion? They concur, so we shall take item number 10A. Public hearings have been held on all of those items. Is there any, Mr. Clerk, any cards on any of those items? Cinco de Mayo hasn't started yet, colleagues.
Do you wish to call item number 10 special? We'll hold it
Let's
on
call
the
item
desk.
10 special as
Okay.
we await a motion. There's also a card on item number 12. We'll call that special.
Okay, so currently before you have items 7 through 9, 11 through 18. I believe there's cards on 12, 13, and 14.
And 14 as well. We'll call that special. Any other special colleagues? Seeing none, let's open the roll on the balance of those items.
President, 14 was already in the special. Are there speaker cards?
Yes, there are speaker cards. We're calling that special.
All right.
So currently before you in this vote is item number 7, 8, 9, 11, 15 through 18.
Any other specials, colleagues? Open the roll on the remaining items.
11
roll.
ayes.
11 ayes. Those items are approved. Forthwith on item number 11. Next item.
Brings you back to item number 4 called special.
Item number 4, there is a public comment card. Alan Ream, will you please come forward?
Yes, I represent Farmers Insurance, and we're just requesting approval to install a communications conduit to connect 2 of our company operations, one being on the south side of Wilshire and one being on the north side. And I think I might have put that card in on error. I think it might be approved.
Well, I believe that is the recommendation. Thank you for your comments. Colleagues, anybody wishing to speak on this item? Seeing none, clerk, please open the roll. Close the roll.
12 ayes.
That item is approved.
Thank you.
forthwith on that item. Next item, please.
Item number 10, called special, a 2-on-1 file. There's a communication from the acting chair of personnel and a communication from the Housing Community Redevelopment Committee chair.
That item does need a motion. Is there a motion from the floor? Councilmember Pacheco moves. Chair recognizes Councilmember Ridley Thomas.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members of the council, 10B is what I would elect to move. This was referred to both committees, a return to personnel. We did scrub it as requested, and you have two items before you, 10A and 10B, housing community redevelopment. We heard it second. We wrapped in HCR with the personnel committee report, and I so move.
That is, push your button, please.
The only question I had on the recommendation is the report isn't clear. So let me make it clear that there's a recommendation that we get quarterly reports on the policy. Just want to make sure it goes to both committees.
Okay. So there's a motion before us. Any other colleagues wishing to speak?
10B as amended, moved.
We are voting on 10B as amended. Clerk, please open the roll. Close the roll.
12 eyes.
That item is approved. Next item, please.
Item number 13, called special. Member wishes to speak from the public.
Didn't we call 12? Mr. President, 12 looked like it was also called special. It's a matter in CD 11. The card that was submitted was from constituent in favor of it, so I would just like to move the recommendation of the Public Works Chair.
Is Mr. Art Pietropalo okay with that?
Yes.
I believe he's here in favor of the proposal. Seeing that, we will open the roll on the item. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
12 eyes.
That item is approved. Next item.
Item number 13.
Item number 13 is before us. No, there's not. No. Any members of the public wishing to speak on this item? Seeing none. Colleagues, any members wishing to speak on this item? Seeing none, clerk, please open the roll on item 13. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
12 eyes.
That item is approved. Next item.
Item number 14, called special. I believe there's a card on this matter.
There are a number of cards on this item. I will call forward three at a time. Ms. Brenda Wilson, Linda Moran, and Roger Tansey. Please come forward.
Oh.
Ms. Wilson? Ms. Wilson, you're on.
Sorry. Good morning, council members. I'm Brenda Wilson, Executive Director of New Image Emergency Shelter for the Homeless. And I actually just wanted to come before you in support of item 14 and requesting that you do expedite this quickly so that we can continue to be reimbursed for the valuable services that we provide to the special needs population. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is Linda Moran.
Linda Moran, Assistant Director, New Image Emergency Shelter, and I just like to ditto what that other person looks a little bit like me said. We are in support of you moving promptly and realizing the importance of the HOPWA Hotel Meal Voucher Program and supporting it in every instance. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is Mr. Roger Tansey. After Mr. Tansey, we'll have Scott Figgenshow. Mr. Tansey is no longer with us, no longer here. Scott Figgenshow, please.
Hi, I'm Scott Figgenshow, Executive Director of Project New Hope. So long as the
fourth part of this item is called back to council. I have no further comments. If called back to committee.
Thank you for your comments. This concludes the public hearing. Members wishing to speak on this item, Chair recognizes Councilmember Pacheco.
Mr. President, colleagues, we're asking that we move the report in its entirety except for recommendation number 4. There have been some colleagues, some council officers that have been concerned about some of the RFPs and the replies to the RFP. So what we want to do is we definitely want to approve reissuing the RFP in the category of housing specialist and continue for 1 week the recommendation to reissue the RFP in the category of supportive services and permanent housing, and then refer that item to the HCR committee for a hearing on May 9th, 2001. And the Housing Department will submit an options paper on that category, the supportive services and permanent housing category, for consideration on Monday, May 7th, for not only council review, but for public review. There are some individuals who would like to see funding issued to some of the responses, so we're going to take a second look at that in committee. So I would move the report as amended through my statements right now on item number 4.
Thank you, Councilman. Before we proceed on this item, I'd like to hold that just on the desk for a moment. I've been informed by the clerk we now have 12 members present, and there were a couple of ordinances that we held over. And so what I'd like to do is reconsider ordinances. I believe that was number 7 and 8. Is there any objection to reconsidering items 7 and 8 in order that we can send them forward as 12-vote ordinances? Seeing none, those ordinances are back before us, colleagues. We have items 7 and 8 again before us. Anyone wish to speak on those items? If not, Mr. Clerk, would you open the roll on items 7 and 8 and tabulate the vote?
12 ayes.
Those items are approved forthwith. To me. Yeah, let's go back to number 14. Chair recognizes Councilman Hernandez.
Yeah, good. Mr. Penny, please come up to the mic. Gary, Mr. Penny, could you please come up? Yep. Members of the council, one, I don't want to hold up the recommendation by the chair. I would just like Mr. Penny to share with all of us why the recommendation is to reissue the RFP. One of my issues has been how long it takes us to get these HAPWA funds out. And I want them on the streets being used as fast as possible. And so if you could share with us why you believe the RFP should be reissued, and what time frame you anticipate all of that being completed in.
Okay. The one category that's being recommended for reissue now is housing specialist. We had $800,000 set aside for that category. There were only 3 responsive proposals, which totaled $138,000. So that category basically was non-responsive. What we've recommended is that we add a series of definitions that's on the report to that particular category. Also allow more than 2 housing specialists per agency and provide technical assistance. We hope to be back in with a recommendation of award before June 30th.
And when you hear that you only had 3 responses totaling $138,000, does that tell you it's something agencies might not need, or does it tell you that there was something wrong in our RFP?
We got more responses. We only got 3 responsive responses. I think, no, this is a category that's badly needed. It's housing specialists. That's why we're restructuring the RFP for that category. We've added definitions. We've changed some of the requirements, and that's also being approved today.
Right. It just seems strange. We got $800,000 we're offering, and only 3 responses come up, and it doesn't total the amount of the RFP. Why that would happen?
We actually received 20 proposals to the category, but 3 only were able to pass the minimum score of 70.
Okay. Okay, and again,
Well, again, we're modifying the RFP because of the responses. We're providing a series of definitions. It's on the report. The definitions include consortium, collaborative, subcontractor, what a housing specialist is supposed to do, residential service coordinator, permanent housing, what that entails, transitional population, target population, and subgroup.
right, and what I got from the response from your staff person was that we basically got 20 responses from the RFP, but we deemed only 3 responsive to what the RFP asked for. And so we said 17 of the groups who applied were not responsive because we disqualified them from some perspective or another.
That's correct.
Okay, and now you're trying to clarify the wording so that that doesn't happen.
Okay, I believe there's no other speakers. Oh, Ms. Walters.
Thank you. Mr. Penny, how many contracts do you propose to let under this? Is it one contract you're going to let or more than one?
In 4 categories, we had 1 proposal, and those 4 would go ahead. In the lease operating, emergency transitional.
No, I'm talking about this one where you say there were 20 responses, but only 3 passed the cutoff mark.
That was for the housing specialist category. We had 7 categories in the RFP. 4 of those categories only had 1 response, and those passed threshold or specialized services. We're recommending that move ahead. The lease operating, emergency transitional, we had 18 proposals, 11 were responsive. We're making a policy recommendation to the council to go below the line threshold of 70 to the next agency, which provides post-incarceration treatment to HIV/AIDS positive individuals. And then
How many, did any agency on the post-incarceration pass the cutoff mark?
they did not.
So it's for that you're going out?
We're recommending you go ahead in that category and award that as a matter of policy, go below the line because that is a population that needs to be served. We're recommending that you go back out on housing specialists. We only got the 3 responsive proposals out of 20.
Okay, now that's what I'm asking for. You got 3 responsive ones out of 20.
That's correct.
How many contracts are you going to let?
None. We're proposing.
Okay, let me, in terms of once we go out, is the question, once we go out to bid, how many contracts do we anticipate letting in that category? Is that the question?
Yes.
That's a hard one to answer because in this category, it is possible that agencies can come together and ask for a large sum of money. It could be
Well,
anywhere
the question
from
is, you
10
said you had-
contracts to...
Excuse me,
I'm
you
sorry.
said you had 3 that responded to it. And I guess out of the 20, that means 17 were not responsive, did not pass. And I ask because if you've got 3, why not, if you're only going to let 1, you've got 3 to choose from.
Well, we have $800,000 in funds, and those only totaled $138,000. Because of the responses, we've recommended changes to that category in the RFP that are being approved today, and we're going to provide technical assistance agency. We're recommending the whole $800,000 go back out. No contracts be awarded at all in that category.
I understand that you're recommending no contracts be awarded. My question is, if you were awarding contracts, how many contracts would you be awarding? More than 1 contract in that category?
3.
Generally speaking, we would be rewarding more than 1 in that category. The category is intended to cover the entire county, and based upon the proposals we receive, we anticipate more than 1.
All right.
Okay.
Do you anticipate more than 3?
That is possible.
All right. I was trying to find the rationale for setting that aside and going out again.
In looking at the responses, there was a lot of variation in an understanding as to what the category actually did.
And so you
And the
feel-
county was not covered with the 3 responses.
Okay. So you feel that the information to the bidders was unclear?
Yes.
And that's the reason you're going out?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, there's no further speakers on this item.
You have item number 14 as amended before you.
Open the roll. Close the roll. It's unanimous vote.
12 eyes.
Madam President, not on the agenda is special motion number 1 has just come in. Findings need to be made by the city attorney.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This has to do with AB 261 by Wright. This has to do with creating the new governing structure for Exposition Park, which consists of 7 voting members appointed by state officials and 2 non-voting members who will be representing the city and the county. There is a hearing on this on May 9th that the city has just found out about, and therefore the council would need to make the findings that the need to act arose after the posting of the agenda and that there's an immediate need to act. And then there is a further motion that the city, with the concurrence of the mayor, oppose AB 261.
Okay, so we need to vote on the findings first?
Yes.
Okay. Open the roll. Close the roll.
12 eyes.
And that's on the findings. Now we'll vote on the recommendation. Open the roll. Close the roll.
12 eyes.
Okay. That is approved. Forthwith, yes.
Madam President, that brings you to item number 19, which is still on the desk because that's a closed session item. Do you wish to consider public comment at this time?
Yes, why don't we take public comment, and I... Yeah. No cards. The public hearing is closed.
Now it's time for the closed session item number 19A and B.
I need to ask everyone who is not authorized to be in the chambers and involved in item 19 to please leave the chambers. We are about to enter closed session. Thank you.
Madam Chair, can I have forthwith on number 14?
And please, Mr. City Clerk, forthwith on item 14.
Okay, here we go. We are back in open session. We do have 2 items that are before us from closed session. They are numbers 19A and B. I believe we probably should vote on them separately. So, Mr. Clerk, would you open the roll on number 19A and tabulate the vote?
19A is authorize the
12
attorney
ayes.
to expend $450 in settlement of case. That's 12 ayes.
Okay, there we go.
And B is authorize city attorney to expend $450,000 in settlement of case.
Okay. Would you open the roll on 12B and tabulate the vote?
12 eyes.
Very good. Mr. Clerk, next items.
Motions for posting and referral.
Without objection, so ordered.
Council members excused from council attendance. Councilmember Fuhr requests to be excused on May 9th to arrive at 11 a.m. for personal business. This meets policy.
Without objection, so ordered.
And the desk is clear.
Okay, let us put the 16th, and we'll let the council president worry about the 18th.
Okay, Councilmember Burnson requests to be excused on May 16th. A motion is required.
Okay, it's motion without objection, so ordered. Next item, Mr. Clerk.
The desk is clear.
Very good. Colleagues, are there any adjourning motions?
I have a point of information on
ma'am.
Special 1. Someone said we already voted on it. Did we call it Special 1? When did we vote on it?
The findings were made and voted on, and then the motion was voted on.
Well, I don't know that the council fully understands what this is all about. And I would like to see whether this is really the will of the council. This is opposition to, all right, as long as we're opposing it. Okay.
Are you asking for reconsideration?
The vote was to oppose it, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. And I have an adjourning motion.
Okay, so you're fine
I'm
with the...
fine.
Okay, very good. Okay, adjourning motions, colleagues?
You'll be the veteran.
Okay, are there any adjourning motions on this side of the horseshoe? Mr. Ridley Thomas for an adjourning motion.
to adjourn for.
Mr. President, members of the council, I'd ask that we adjourn in memory of Victor Brown. Victor was an 18-year-old young man who was tragically killed as a result of drowning. He was a senior at Harbor High School and an active member of the Messiah Full Gospel Baptist Church. He had recently earned a 4-year athletic scholarship to attend San Diego State University, and he's survived by his parents.
Mr. President, did you say Messiah Baptist Church?
The Messiah Full Gospel Baptist Church.
I think, well, then I would like to co-author.
You may, all righty? It's distinguished from the Messiah Baptist Church on Adams, not the same one.
Okay.
All right. And then, Mr. President, members of the council, I suspect all members would wish to join in memory of Billy Higgins. Mr. Higgins was a legendary jazz drummer with a musical career spanning 5 decades, playing and recording with the likes of John Coltrane, Herbie Hancock, Ornette Coleman, and Milt Jackson. Billy Higgins was also an influential figure in the local arts scene as one of the founders of the World Stage, Mr. Burnson, a place where writers and musicians could hone their craft and celebrate what it means to be a cultural artist, virtuoso in the city of Los Angeles. Billy Higgins is survived by his sons, Ronald, William, David, Benjamin, Joseph, and daughter, Ricky Wade. Billy Higgins is large in Leimert Park and far beyond, and his passing will be celebrated in grand style. Mr. President.
Thank you. The chair recognizes Councilwoman Walters.
Yes, thank you. I'd like for the council to adjourn in memory of Guadalupe Valles. She was 34 years old. Day before yesterday, she was on her way home from work at the Central Library, at the Los Angeles Central Library, when a hijacked bus slammed into her van at 4th and San Pedro, killing her instantly. Guadalupe grew up in East Los Angeles. She was a resident of Norwalk and the mother of 3 children. She was an employee, I already indicated, of the Los Angeles Central Library since 1998. Her family and co-workers described her as an engaging woman who loved children and volunteered countless hours over the past 2 years, leading a Long Beach Girl Scout troop. She's survived by a husband and 3 children, ages 11, 7, and 5.
That's tragic. Is that the same as the...
All members. Is there any announcements before we call the roll? Mr. Clerk, would you call the roll?
I caught it when you said
I just want to put on the record that I'll be in and out, so, for the next couple of weeks.
Being no further business before the council, this council is adjourned. Have a good day.